Border Force yesterday, and also Minister Dutton, I can confirm that nobody will be getting off a ship in New South Wales until further notice, and I want to thank the New South Wales Police Force for assisting us in that process. As everybody appreciates, this is important for the community to know this is where we stand, and I do not want any action taken further in relation to releasing any passengers off any boat in Sydney until we get a tick-off from all authorities on new protocols moving forward. I also want to thank police officers, especially in rural and regional communities. Just because your community is not on the heat map we're putting up in terms of the number of cases, please don't assume that you might not have people walking around in your community who are suspected of having it or should be in isolation. And in particular, police not only are ramping up their presence around all of our ports, but also in rural and regional communities in particular to follow up those cases of known people who should be in isolation to make sure we don't spread this further anywhere, let alone in those rural and regional communities. I also want to say to the community, thank you to everybody for stepping up and following the various decisions we've had to take in the last few days regarding shutdowns. But I do also want to say to the community that if we don't see things shifting in the numbers because of those actions, New South Wales will have to go further. And I think everybody appreciates that. But I'm saying no need to panic. Supermarkets and essential things will always be available for people to obtain. But if things haven't shifted because of the actions we took earlier in the week, and actions which I'm very pleased we took at that time, we will have to go further. And I just want everyone to be prepared for that. Not to be overly concerned or panic, but just to know that the New South Wales Government will go further if we have to, because it's in the interests of public safety. I also want to thank the police yesterday for supporting our government in issuing or having the ability to issue on-the-spot fines. We are at a stage in the virus where we do have to reduce the spread. We have to see the number of cases transmitted in the community reduced, and we need to make sure people who are supposed to be in self-isolation or people who are supposed to exercise social distancing, if they're out and about, to exercise both of those important things. And if they're not, the police will be on hand to issue fines. But in the main, we want people to please do the right thing, because if the spread continues, New South Wales will have to take immediate action to go further. I also wanted to thank and stress again to everybody that yesterday the government announced we've hired an extra, or we're in the process of hiring an extra 1,000 people through Service New South Wales. These people will assist health in making various contacts with people in isolation, but also, most importantly, people are there to assist you if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if you want information on where to get help. Call the Service New South Wales hotline 13 77 88. There will be extra people at the end of the phone to help you. And if we can't help you, we'll direct you to who can, whether it's a question you have about your business, a question you have about a concern you might have. Service New South Wales is there to assist. And we want to make sure people have the ability to speak to someone at the end of the phone. If you're isolated or concerned or have any issues, please call Service New South Wales. We also are ramping up the level of public information we're providing through nsw.gov.au. So the two important things to remember are the website New South Wales nsw.gov.au and also the Service New South Wales number 13 77 88. That's a familiar number to many. We already have millions of calls that have gone through on that number for various other reasons. But in this instance, if you have any issues, you want to talk to a human being at the end of the phone, please know that's there. I also want to update the community that through our Family and Community Services and Service New South Wales, we've reached out to tens of thousands of people who we know are vulnerable in New South Wales. So they've been caught up in their homes, and if they don't answer 3 times, we've sometimes sent someone around to make sure they're okay. So please know that this time it's really important for all of us to do what we can to support the most vulnerable. And New South Wales is making sure that we have contacted people who are in that category. We know from past experience that people who are more likely to be socially isolated or have relied on government assistance, and we're making sure that contact is made with as many of these people as possible. And finally, I just wanted to update the community in relation to National Cabinet last night. National Cabinet made a few decisions around having more people being tested and various categories of people being tested. I just want to assure the community New South Wales had already done that. So in relation to testing people in health workers and also people working in aged care, we'd already relaxed the testing criteria to make sure people in those high-risk areas were being tested more frequently. And in addition to that, we've already adopted everything else the National Cabinet agreed to last night. I'll ask Dr. Chant to make some comments, and then I'll be pleased to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Premier. So we have 1,219 confirmed cases, and that brings a new 190 new cases since 8 p.m. yesterday. Of those, we have 7 deaths in New South Wales and currently 16 cases in ICU. There was 211 cases in the previous 24 hours. So we will be closely monitoring, as the Premier has indicated, the number of new notifications. We will be looking at those numbers because we will be expecting, with returning travellers coming in, that we do see an increase in the returning travellers' positivity because of the high rates of disease in some countries overseas from which they're returning. Those individuals will be required to self-isolate in the home, and that then blocks any transmission to the broader community in New South Wales. We'll be particularly looking at those cases where we don't find any links to either overseas travel or known clusters or other confirmed cases, and that will give us an indication of the success of the strategies. As the Premier said, we are closely watching this data so that we can actually inform ourselves about the success of our strategies. I would also like to thank the community for their help and assistance in contact tracing. So when we get a confirmed case, we call that confirmed case and we ask them a details of their life.